What's good, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your boy Jay Green is back. This weekend, I'm bringing you my review for Blade Runner 2049. Now, this movie was directed by Denis Villeneuve. The DP on this film was Roger Deakins, and I'm going to go more into that later on. Stars Harrison Ford, Jared Leto, Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, damn! Robin Wright, and Sylvia Hoeks. Now, for those of you out there who have no idea what Blade Runner 2049 is, this is a sequel to the 80s film Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford, who played a character named Rick Deckard. Now, Rick Deckard, this is the Blade Runner, the best around. His job is to retire or assassinate replicants. Replicants were androids made to look like humans. Now, in his case and scenario, these androids went crazy and started killing a bunch of humans, so these motherfuckers got to go. Now, the original Blade Runner movie had a very ambiguous ending. This movie, Blade Runner 2049, picks up some 30 years later. Ryan Gosling, he is a Blade Runner, an LAPD cop. While he's on his missions, taking out these replicants, he uncovers a big fat secret that is going to blow the lid off the company that has created most, if not all, of these replicants. And as you would imagine, as he's trying to uncover the details of this secret and potentially figure out what he wants to do with this information, the company is trying to take him out all at the same time. Shenanigans ensue, and now we're off to the races. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to start at the top with the director, Denis Villeneuve. Now, I heard that he was asked in an interview, why do you want to be the one to direct a movie that is coming basically 30 plus years after the original? And he says, look, I love Blade Runner so much, I don't want anyone else to fuck it up. Now, if that's the case and he really said that shit, I'm hella happy about that, because anytime a director is so passionate about a project that they don't even want anyone else to touch it, you know they're going to put forth 100% plus effort. So that movie is great. And this movie is great. It looks phenomenal. Denis Villeneuve has brought us movies like Arrival, Sicario, and Prisoners. Those movies had flawless acting, great character development, and the direction of those movies was fantastic as well, with great storytelling. His DP on most of those films is Roger Deakins, and Roger Deakins brings his class, his knowledge, and his professionalism and perfection to this film. Now, to me, Blade Runner 2049 is damn near a masterpiece. This movie, to me, is flawless. In the first Blade Runner movie, they're posing a lot of questions about AI and humanity. Can AI ever actually be human? They have their own consciousness. What's the deal with all that? Now, those questions are brought further into this movie. This movie asks even more questions, or poses more questions, I should say. It doesn't necessarily answer every single one of those questions or give you all the information that you should be able to answer. It's going to make you think about it. But even though it doesn't, they're still very fully realized. Now, I'm enjoying the fact that those questions are fully realized, making me think and ponder, oh man, what about this? What about that? The secret that Ryan Gosling's character uncovers in that blows my mind to just even imagine this is happening. So for that aspect, great sequel, great follow-up. I loved it. The other aspect, this movie's coming 30-something years off the heels of the last movie. They got Harrison Ford in this movie, but they don't just have Harrison Ford in this movie to have Harrison Ford in this movie. His character makes perfect sense. He's here for a reason. He's got purpose. Now, that purpose that he has furthers the plot along when you're thinking about the company that created the replicants, when you're thinking about the Blade Runner squad that's going out trying to take out the replicants, the dystopian future that we have right now, where it is kind of in a way replicants versus humans, because if we find out, again, I can't spoil too much, but it all makes perfect sense, and I love every minute of it. Now, as far as the acting, I mean, come on. We got Harrison Ford, you got Ryan Gosling, Robin Wright. You know, you got a lot of great people in this film. Dave Bautista, early on in the film, he's got a significant portion in the movie. This movie has flawless acting from everybody. But the one person who probably stood out the most to me, that held her own with everyone, well, it had to be Sylvia Hoeks. Now, I keep it real, I haven't really seen too much of this cat Sylvia, but when she was in this film, she was holding her own up against your Ryan Goslings, your Harrison Fords, your Jared Letos, all of these cats. She brought some fierce action in this movie, great fight scenes with this chick. I believed her every minute that she was on screen. She was a bitch. When I left the theater with my buddy, I'm like, man, fuck that bitch. And whenever a villain makes you say that crap outside the damn theater, you know she did her job. Let's just say that. Another thing I will admit to you is that while I do like the first Blade Runner movie, I didn't think it was like, oh my god, that groundbreaking and that crazy. It still looks great. It's Ridley Scott, definitely in his heyday and whatnot. You had Harrison Ford doing his thing, Rutger Hauer. That movie was definitely a good film, but I'm not like all Googa over it like most people are. This movie, however, I am Googa over. I think it's fantastic, but because of the way that this movie follows that first one, it makes me want to go back and watch that first one again and then watch this one right after it. It goes that seamlessly. If you're someone who has never seen that first Blade Runner movie, I don't think you need to go see it for sure. If you want to check it out, check it out. It is a good movie, but you don't have to see it in order to understand this one. This movie does have a little bit in the beginning to kind of break down and give you some understanding as to what is going on, and this movie can, in a way, stand on its own. You still get enough information in this film if you haven't seen the original to understand what's jumping off, and it is entertaining nonetheless. I will tell you this is your disclaimer. If you're the type of people out there who don't just research stuff, you just go to the theater and you're like, what's showing? I hate those people. Stop doing that. Know what the fuck you want to see. Anyway, this movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes. Now, if you add in the average runtime of the trailers, about 15 minutes, you're looking at a 3-hour fucking movie, somewhere around there. It's fucking long, okay? So be prepared for that. This movie is a slow burn. I love a slow burn. I love a slow burn when the character development is happening, when the movie is good and deserves a slow burn. It's not boring, it's a slow burn, okay? So be prepared for a long movie with some long scenes of beauty and development and things of that nature, tension, and all of that pondering and whatnot. Be prepared for that. If you're not a fan of a slow burn, probably wait for this one, not in theaters, when you can go and take a leak or whatever you got to do, okay? Alright guys, you know how it works. I can't really break this movie down too much without spoiling it, so I'm going to cut it right there. I hope I gave you enough insight to want to go see this movie. It is worthy of a trip to the theater. Check this movie out in IMAX. Well worth it. Great follow-up. Other than that, good looking out on hanging with your boy for this review. Do me a favor while I have you here. Like, subscribe. You do. I'm out.
The future of the species is finally unearthed.